So 1 year ago I said that this was the best 3D printer you'll never buy, but was I talking out of my backside? Well, 1 year later I'm back to talk about whether the HeyGears Reflex has lived up to its reputation and whether it and its sibling the RS are worth your hard-earned money. But let's start by kicking the hornet's nest a little bit, because this printer has been controversial to say the least. There was a big swathe of the 3D printing community who, fair enough, pointed out that they would never buy this printer simply because of its lockdown ecosystem. And still more called out, again correctly, HeyGears' funding model, which saw them sending out printers to lots of creators, including me, offering generous affiliate programs that raised the potential for massive bias, and it became quite heated for a while. For my own part, in the spirit of transparency, I actually made a video laying out what I earn and from who. You can find it up there. So if you're interested, go and check that out. But to those naysayers and critics, I would say respectfully, I think you're wrong. Or at least you're not coming at 3D printing from the same direction that maybe I'm coming at 3D printing. Which is to say that I don't see 3D printers as a hobby in themselves. I see them as tools to achieve a job. Does that make sense? Actually, let me backtrack from that slightly, because I obviously recognise there's a whole swathe of the 3D printing community that loves tinkering and playing with all this sort of stuff. What I really mean is that this printer isn't for them, it never has been. HeyGears have been really explicit about this printer being an end-to-end solution, almost a professional solution, and I actually really like it, and when I'm actually using it, find it really convenient. It's kind of like, you know, using a manual car over an automatic. You sort of resist it for a little while, and then when you finally take the jump, you realise that actually it's really nice not having to think about the gears. But there's a time and a place for both options, and there is no question that there is no 3D printing tool I've used more in the last 12 months than HeyGears. The simple fact is that when I just need a project to work, or I'm on a deadline, I just slap it into Blueprint, slice it, hit print, and just works. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, but we'll get to that in a second. And I'm genuinely interested in your opinion here, so do let me know in the comments if you think this is all bias and or if I'm coming across as a bit of an entitled But I've been lucky enough to test about 15 different 3D printers this year, and while there have been some absolute belters, none have stood the test of time and none have made it into my sort of like regular workflow in the same way that HeyGears does. The other thing to discuss about this printer is the price of it, because it's not a cheap machine. The Reflex goes for about £1,300 and the Reflex RS is just under £1,000. That's a lot of money for a 3D printer when there are hobby grade machines going for £300 or £400 doing a very similar sort of job. Again, this isn't going to be a product that's for everybody, and so the point of this is not to convince you to go for one or the other, just to lay out my experience, and then you have to decide whether that extra cash is worth the productivity boosts or the workflow boosts, and you can make that decision for yourself. Because let's face it, I was sent this machine for free, so it's very difficult for me to have an objective view about the value of the printer. All I can do is lay out the facts as I see them for you, and I hope that sort of attests that even though I got this machine for free, I'm still using it right now, despite the fact that other printers have been released since this one. But you tell me. But for the recap of the last 12 months of using this printer, I'm going to start with the bad bits. Number one is that lock-in. Now, HeyGears have been teasing an open mode for a long time now, but it's still not here. So if I'm using a resin and I want to tweak the settings, I can't. That's it. We'll just put a slight caveat in here and say third-party resins, for the most part, do work on the HeyGears machine, but you sort of have to just guess a bit and find something that's kind of similar. Now, the tech in the printer means that almost certainly the results you'll get will be very, very good indeed, but there's no guarantees, and to use them you have to pour them in manually and then override lots of settings to get the machine to print. But once you do that, you're pretty much guaranteed to have pretty good results. The same goes with slicing. You may be a massive Lychee or Chitu fan, but that's tough. The only slicer that works with the HeyGears Reflex is Blueprint, which I love, and I've made a separate video all about it, but if you want to use a different piece of software, you can't. That's it. Now, when the printer was first launched, there was a little bit of controversy around the printer always having to be online and the potentially HeyGears could log into your printer and brick it. So HeyGears responded and launched an offline mode, which worked perfectly. But when it's in offline mode, you do lose some of the functionality that the printer comes with, like obviously cloud updates and over-the-air updates and that sort of stuff. But They do offer an offline mode, so that's a positive step in the right direction. For me though, I've never really found the lock-ins to be a massive issue. I actually really like the HeyGears resins, particularly the PARP and the PAS resins. Both of those are absolutely fantastic, and the PAS resin costs about $30 a kilo, so it's on a par with other sort of hobby type brands. Maybe a little bit more expensive, but the convenience factors kind of makes it worth it for me. I also really hate calibrating resins for every single time and every single printer that I use. So whenever I try a new resin, I don't want to have to go through a whole rigmarole of testing and cleaning and calibrating my printer. I just wanted to put it in the machine and it just work. And that's what the HeyGears resin system does. For a more normal user though, if you're just using one or maybe two types of resin, you calibrate those for your one machine, you find out what works, you get your settings, and then you just run with that for years. So that's less of an issue and maybe more of a me thing. And it's the same for the other post-processing equipment too. Because the wash station, the cure station are all wireless, you can, from Blueprint, send the model to your wash station and your cure station, and then automatically get the settings that you need for how long to wash your models, and how long to bake your models, and how long to cure your models. So you never over-cure your models, and as a result, you get better prints at the end of it. One major thing I have run into that I do find frustrating about the HeyGears Reflex is the size of it. It's a little bit smaller than other 10-inch printers, which means that build plate's slightly constricted, which means that you can fit slightly fewer models on, and most of the time, that's fine, it's not a big issue, but every now and again you run into a project where you just need it to be a few inches bigger, and it's not, and that is frustrating. Considering the overall size of the machine itself, I do feel the build plates could be a little bit larger. When I'm printing other bigger projects, I end up having to switch to other printers, like the GK3 Ultra. I think it speaks volumes though that when I do switch to other printers, I just miss how easy the HeyGears is to use. There's no doubt though that particularly the Reflex do feel a little small. The fact that the RS is a little bit bigger is the main reason I'm using that printer the most now. The last thing you should really know in terms of major downsides is the speed of the printer. It's actually not something I focus too much on because I tend to do most of my printing overnight. So I just hit print and the printer runs overnight and I wake up and get my models off it the next morning. It's fine, doesn't really affect me, but the Reflex is significantly slower, particularly to newer entrants to the market like the Saturn IV Ultra or the Anycubic M7, both of which are fantastic printers and very fast. So the HeyGears, I would say, is 40 to 50% slower than both of those machines. Now, that is an absolute game changer for me. I'm doing no calibration, no supporting, I'm literally just drag, drop, print, and it works 95% of the time. When there are fails, they're usually, though, down to little support failures. Every now and again, you get a bit unlucky. The worst ones I've had have been little bent bases like the one on screen at the moment, but as you can see for the model turned out amazing and I just reprinted a new base. It's not the end of the world. By the way, if you like models like this, there are loads available like this over on my Patreon. The links are down below. It costs $10 a month to sign up for it, and you get access to over 60 busts and D&D campaigns and other 25mm miniatures, so go and check that out if that's something you're interested in. If, however, you want free miniatures, sign up to my newsletter. Again, the link is down below, and this month you'll get this incredible exclusive bust from Female Miniatures. I think it's amazing. Go and sign up. You'll get your free STL, as well as a load of news, updates, painting bits, and exclusive early access to my painting workshops, which is neat. You know what though, I guess it's a little bit weird to spend so long talking about all the bad bits on a printer that I actually really like, but that's the thing about long-term reviews. There's no such thing as a perfect printer. When you test things for a long time, bugs appear, which is why I like to make videos like this one. Over the last year, I have done no maintenance on this printer. There have been no parts that are broken, other than the hood, which I broke myself. I haven't replaced a FEP yet, although I'm probably coming up on due. There's been no parts failures, everything's just worked and worked and worked and worked, and brilliant. That's exactly what you'd expect from a printer that is frankly this expensive. When we're talking about the failure of parts, 95% of the prints are absolutely successful. I do though, for balance, want to bring out some of the highlights of the machine too, and there are 4. Number 1 is the build quality. The build quality on this machine is beyond incredible. It's probably the best thing on the market right now if you exclude the Form 4, but don't forget the Form 4 costs 3 times the price. It's lovely to use, it's tactile, it's ergonomic, everything wipes down, it's easy to clean. I just love it. If you buy the RS, and as a hobbyist you probably should because it's geared towards you, if you buy the RS you'll notice a slight downgrade in the external build quality, things like the plastics and stuff like that, but all the internal stuff remains absolutely spot on, so really very good. The main difference between the Reflex and the Reflex RS is the light source. The light source in the Reflex is 385 nanometers and the light source in the Reflex RS is 405 nanometers. All that really means is, and yes, I appreciate it's more complicated, but all that really means is that the Reflex can print more advanced resins like transparent resins and casting resins, whereas the Reflex RS is more limited to standard sort of miniature type resins. The second major highlight is the workflow. Now, I've talked at length about this in other videos, so I'm not going to go about it too much here, but I really like the workflow. If you're using the HeyGears Reflex RS, then all you do is you slice your models in Blueprint, you send them wirelessly from Blueprint straight to the printer, hit print, and away it goes. While that's happening, you can also send that same model off to the wash station, off to the cure station, which are both wireless as well. But the only interactions you need to have with that resin is to put some gloves on and move it from the printer to the wash station, from the wash station to the cure station. The advantage of being able to send the files to the wash station and the cure station is that it calibrates the length of the wash and the length of the cure to your specific model and to your specific resin, which means that it's very difficult to get wrong. And that's one of the major advantages of the workflow. It's just idiot proof, which means that despite the price, these printers are actually really beginner friendly and easy to use. Now, the third highlight of these printers is about the support. Now, HeyGears do have a back end where they can support various technical queries. For example, you have model fails or various bits and pieces, and they usually take 2 to 3 working days to respond to those, but they do it, and it is a very effective system, and it's built into Blueprint, so that's cool. But no, what I'm talking about now is there's a real problem in the 3D printing industry at the moment in that it's developing so fast that an older models are kind of left behind in the development cycle. I'm pleased to say that's not the case here though. It's something I was really watching out for, but over the last 12 months, HeyGears have released at least 16 UI and software updates for the HeyGears Reflex system, one of which has been a major, version launch, which completely refreshed all of Blueprint. So I'm really glad they've been able to keep their promise there. The updates have covered everything from small bug fixes through to performance increases, through to major feature launches like the offline mode I mentioned earlier. But they've also launched new support for new resins. So the team behind this are really working very hard to ensure that the development cycle continues to roll on and progress. And the fourth highlight is materials. I know HeyGears are working very hard behind the scenes to really delve into what miniature printers really need. I know that because I've had lots of conversations with the development team around the properties that I like from resins, around the things that are working for me and not working for me, how I clean up, all of these sort of questions. And as a result of that, HeyGears have launched 4 new resins this year. There's the 2 new PARP resins, there's an orange one and a pale lilac one, which are excellent. They're probably my favourite resins at the moment, or certainly the ones I've printed the most with. There's also a new PAS resin, which is pitched as a prototyping resin, but is really just a budget resin. It costs about $30 a kilo, which brings it into the realm of affordability for some of the more normal users of these sort of printers. And they've also just launched a new resin called PAF10, and PAF10 is very exciting. I've only been testing it for a couple of weeks, but I really like what I see so far. It's tough, it's flexible, it's dark grey and matte finish, which means it's really easy to see details on the prints. They just look beautiful. But yeah, I've been testing it for a couple of weeks and I really like it. And it's really nice to see companies like HeyGears continue to invest and develop and all that cool stuff. So just before I wrap up my thoughts, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who does support me over on Patreon. You are all absolute legends, and, well, frankly, doing this whole YouTube thing wouldn't be as much fun without you. So, my overall thoughts about the HeyGears Reflex. Well, obviously, it's a net positive for me. I absolutely love this printer. It's been my absolute workhorse for the last 12 months. No, it's not perfect, but HeyGears have been pretty responsive at fixing issues, and I haven't had any part failures, so yeah, fingers crossed it continues to serve for another 12 months. I have absolutely loved using this printer. But should you buy it? Well, there's no doubt it's expensive, particularly when you compare them to hobby brands like the Anycubic M7 or the Saturn IV Ultra, both of which are excellent. So it's really going to come down to how much you value that ecosystem and that workflow. If you're the sort of person who, at the very thought of a locked-in ecosystem, goes, nope, then no. You shouldn't buy the HeyGears system, you won't enjoy it. You should just go and buy an open source printer like one of the two I mentioned before. You'll have a great time, you'll be able to use any resin you like, anything from Amazon, and you'll get great results regardless, because both those printers are incredible. If, however, you like the idea of being able to pick up a resin from the shelf, put it in your machine and know it will just work, you'll have the extra reliability, you'll have the extra workflow improvements. If you think that value is worth that, say, 500 quid over the lifespan of the machine, then yeah, I think you should go and buy the HeyGears system. But you should know going into it exactly what you're getting. For me, I really like the HeyGears system, but as I said, it's difficult for me to be objective around price. So taking money out of the equation, yes, I would buy the HeyGears system, but you can't really do that, so I'm going to have to slopey shoulder this one and hand it over to you. Well, at least that's my recommendation for this year. We'll see what next year brings, because this is a developing space, and oh yeah, there's some really cool things on the horizon. As I alluded to early on though, I've done a lot of testing of the Formlabs Form 4 recently, and although that printer is significantly more expensive, it's a really, really cool machine, and I've loved using that one too. So if that's something you're interested in, and you're just like me, a bit of a nerd about 3D printing, go and check out the video on the Form 4. It's up on screen now, and all that's left to say is, I'll see you next time.